Hi everybody, welcome back to Lucky Bamboo. Today we're talking with Christina. How are you, Christina?
I'm swell.
Swell. I was wondering if you could talk to us this week about what makes cover-ups different than like normal tattoos, and what makes doing those kind of more different or more complicated that way.
I guess the obvious answer is there's a tattoo already there. So you have the added challenge of not only creating the new piece, but it being successful enough to cover or camouflage the existing tattoo. And I think usually the challenge with that is maybe coming up with a solid compromise that the client and the artist, that they're going to want and that you actually think is going to work and be successful for a cover-up, because not every idea will work. Definitely something that's usually darker, more detailed, lots of lines, something that's kind of busy to break up what might be underneath. But it really depends on what the tattoo is that you're covering, how old it is, maybe how thick it is. People definitely need to be open to going bigger than the original tattoo, which is definitely a hurdle we've had before. So if someone does need a cover-up, the best thing they can do is just be really open to whatever suggestions the artist might have.
Yeah, because I think some people come in and they're just like, oh, it's just little, and so I want to keep it little, and you can just cover it and not realize like, well, there's a lot going on there that needs to be covered, and they think they can just keep it and go really bright or light, and maybe sometimes that doesn't work if you have something that you need to go maybe a little darker to cover that.
Yeah, and I think another misconception, I guess, is that with a cover-up, a lot of times your main concern is actually camouflage, just to make sure, even if part of that old tattoo might peek through here or there, it's not a clear indication of what was there. So sometimes, or if I can, I'll try to use any of those existing lines, try and tie them into the new tattoo, but it's not always 100% covered. Like sometimes you can see
you can still
something here or there, which
use some of that though, instead of it just being like, oh, this isn't covered. We just incorporated it into something new.
Yeah, so that's definitely part of it. And then I guess that kind of ties into your follow-up conversation you've done before too, where sometimes that cover-up might need a second pass or something here or there just to make sure it's really covered up well. But
I think people don't understand that either when we tell them that like, this is going to be more work than it was initially, and they're just like, oh, well, it's just another tattoo.
Yes, because it's probably bigger, darker, bolder, more detailed than it was before.
Is it easier to see the tattoo, or is it easier to see pictures of the tattoo that's existing in order to like fully give a good idea of a cover-up?
Well, I guess in person would always be better, because you can't always rely on someone's photographs being accurate, as well as sometimes people even have scar tissue where some of the lines are raised, and that's something you're going to have to work with in the new tattoo, which again, a cover-up can be a distraction, but if you were to feel, like, you would still feel some of those raised lines, but I don't think it would be something you would just like notice at first glance anymore. But that might be an added benefit to seeing it in person, is just if it is raised at all or scarred.
To kind of see more of those details of what needs to be done.
What you're really working with, yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, I think people just assume that it's just like getting any other tattoo, and it's not. And they just assume that that's going to be amazing and fantastic for them, and it's just going to be
Some of them
easy.
are, if it's really old, like, something that's like 20 years old and it's just so small and light, like it's super easy to cover. It's usually more of the stuff they got within the last year or two, where it hasn't even been around that long, so it's pretty close to the surface and going to be some competition for that cover-up. But
no, I think that explained it a lot. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And thanks for kind of explaining, because like I said, people just assume and don't have all the information, especially when it comes to cover-ups. We get questions all the time of, oh, well, I don't understand why this isn't just easier. Well, you're working with something existing. So thanks for kind of talking through that. And everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next time.